What is up, armchair fandom maniacs? This is the Real Last Jedi coming to you with another video. This week we're going to be talking about Moon Knight, episode 1 of season 1. I really love this episode. Before we get started, before we bring in our guests, let me remind you to click that like and subscribe button, share this video, leave a comment in the comment section below. That will help us gain viewership and help our channel. And we really appreciate anybody who tunes in to watch our videos. So just a second, we'll get started here, and we'll be right back. What are you reading up on, man?
The downfall of the Jedi. Greetings again from the hallowed halls of Korriban, the hallowed book of the Sith. How we're going to take down the Jedi yet again. Actually, we figured probably the best thing to do instead of killing all the Jedi is leave you as the last remaining Jedi. They'll guarantee they won't get off the ground ever again.
Whatever, man. How much time did you spend thinking up that intro?
About 30 seconds. It's about all the show prep you usually put in. So I figured, well, I'm following in your footsteps, man. It's all good.
Yeah, man, the start of this, we're recording this episode, but the way that just went, man, I think we can go back to doing our live shows and get on a more regular schedule, man. That went real smooth. I put in a little bit of cash into the channel this past week and went out and purchased a new laptop. So now I'm not.
As you shook down the old lady for some cash.
Yeah, that's basically what it meant. I promised to be good for the next 6 months. She let me get a laptop. So basically, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I'm a poor Jedi. Yeah, I'm a poor Jedi living on Oxtoe with a bunch of penguin nuns. So what can you do?
Weird space creatures that get green milk. Okay, we'll see how you do that live.
Oh man, Moon Knight.
But you're right. I'm a loser here on Korriban with all these Sith hounds and all the dust hounds in the temples. You're exactly right. You paint a much more better picture, but we'll go with that. No,
you're a loser regardless of what you're doing. Whether you're on Korriban or wherever.
I'm consistent, buddy, unlike you who are all over the place.
Yeah. Hey, how would you like to have one of these?
I already got toilet paper, man. No thanks. Was that out loud?
Let's get started. Moon Knight, man, what'd you think? We're just going to do initial reaction right now. I don't give away any spoilers for those that haven't seen it yet. We'll give you a spoiler warning.
Basically, I have about, for one of the rare occurrences on this show, I have about as much knowledge of this character as you do, because basically, in all my years of reading comics, the guy never interested me much. I know he's the Marvel version of Batman, supposedly. He's one of the Midnight Suns and all, but I mean, he's got a good look to him. But I mean, like I say, I never was interested in buying the comic, but I decided to give the show a chance, clearly. And the show's pretty good. Oscar Isaac's a very good actor, and I mean, it kept you interested. I was pretty impressed with it.
I was too, man. it has to be really bad if it's any kind of comic book or superhero property for me to come out of it and say I absolutely hate it. That's just the kid in me. I grew up with the Christopher Reeve Superman movies and the Spider-Man coming on Electric Company. I've just always liked this kind of stuff. I never was a comic reader, which is probably well established on this channel up to this point. You're the comic reader. I know nothing about any of these characters normally until they're introduced to me in television or on the big screen.
Right.
But I always tune in and check them out. I got to say, man, other than Loki, the Loki series, this one has me the most excited because of what a great job they did with this first episode. You know, you tune into the typical uh, channels on YouTube that just tell you everything sucks, and you wouldn't think anything of it. But I really did like this episode. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, I think really for, again, the limited knowledge I have of this character, I mean, it really has got a lot of different ways it could go, and you can't say you were bored. I mean, it's not giving any spoilers away, but when he swipes the ice cream truck or the cake truck or whatever it was, it definitely takes a different turn for sure.
Yeah. I always go in and watch a lot of different reviews after I watch something to just kind of get other people's take. It kind of it informs your own opinion of something if they can point out certain things. For example, we've already done our review on the Batman that me and you went and saw a few weeks ago.
Right.
I was out of town where my brother lives last week, a couple weeks ago. My nephews hadn't seen it, so I took them and went and watched it again. And like in our review of the Batman, we both of us had a problem with probably the last 20 minutes because we didn't really understand the transition the Riddler took from just wanting to expose all this corruption to all of a sudden he was just going to destroy Gotham. But after seeing that the second time, you pick up a couple things toward the end of that movie that really ties all of those last 20 minutes together. So I like to listen to other people's opinion, maybe catch some things that they caught that maybe I didn't catch. And a lot of people I watch on YouTube, no doubt, some of these guys went to film school and things like that, and they're better equipped to pick out the symbology and stuff. Which I'll discuss a few of the scenes. One that you've already mentioned that is kind of a take on this character and what he's going through. But yeah, that particular scene you're talking about, I was cracking up. I'll mention a little bit more about that in a minute. One particular part specifically.
Well, there was besides that scene, I liked how even as a kid, I always thought the Egyptian pharaohs and stuff like that were pretty interesting things. And I think the fact that they're bringing in some of these, Egyptian gods and stuff like that, everything, I think it really makes it, kind of interesting and a really different take on what they could do with this character. And I think you may see a lot of different, characters show up in this thing that, no, neither one of us have heard of. And it's nice to have something new for a change.
Yeah, it is new. I mean, mostly all the Disney Plus stuff that we've had has just been touching base with properties we've already seen, we're already familiar with. Is there anything other than this show that's actually been a new character?
Well, now I will say, now it has not really nothing to do with this show, but if you talking about how this show is going to introduce the new gods and stuff, you're going to see, and I saw a lot of news come out of this recently from different channels. The Secret Invasion show that's going to have Emilia Clarke in it. Apparently, she's going to be playing the Skrull Empress, and that's going to be big. That's going to lead to an actual Secret Invasion movie. So if there's any way that Moon Knight can kind of have some sort of connection to that in some sort of way, they could be setting up something big here. We just might be on the ground floor of it.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, the MCU was kind of in a lull the last couple of years. One, you had COVID that hit, slowed everything down. Two, they had just culminated an 11-year, 21 movie story arc. So everybody was wondering where it was going to go. And I'm happy with the groundwork they've laid. I wasn't real pleased the first little bit we got from Disney Plus from Marvel, because basically it wasn't anything new. We was just getting some new information and a continuance of storylines of some characters we already had. But I think with this and the Doctor Strange 2 trailer, I'm excited for the overall story that they're laying out.
Well, one thing that's concerned me, and I don't know, I mean, we might have touched on this the other day. We're in April, and I'm a big Thor fan. We haven't got a single teaser trailer for that movie yet. It's 3 months. I know they'll have an actual full-out trailer whenever you see Doctor Strange next month, but shouldn't they at least have something out by now?
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I guess we're going to get into spoilers. So if you're watching this video and you haven't seen the first episode of Moon Knight, this is your opportunity to check out and come back and watch the rest of this video later after you've watched the first episode. But let's get into spoilers, man. This show starts out, you're introduced to this character. What was his name? Steve? Everybody's calling him Steven.
Yeah. Steven. I can't remember the last name, but he's a museum. You think he's a museum, actually a curator or something, but it turns out he sells some kind of kids' toys or something at the movie, at the museum.
Yeah, his boss is always getting on to him for not marketing enough. But
his boss should be on Office Space.
The gist and the most important aspect of this character from this first episode, like I told you, I've never read comics a day in my life. I tried to get into them. You took me to the comic shop, and I bought one of a few issues of one of their what do you guys call them? Their where they cross over. All of them are in the same. No, all of them are in the same story. What do they call those? Crossover events or whatever. Okay. I read a few issues. I liked it, but reading's just not my thing, man. I don't have the patience. I can't sit still enough to do it. That's why I like to get the
of a rodent.
Well, that could be it too. Short attention span. I don't know. I've just never liked reading that much. I'd rather be doing something. But I like storytelling. That's why I want to go in and get a great story in a 2-hour movie and be done with it. But the most important aspect of this character is the fact that he's a split personality.
Yeah.
And Oscar Isaac did it.
Characters.
There's 3. I'm not sure how many there is or there are, but Oscar Isaac, anytime somebody plays the part of a split personality, and the thing that comes to my mind initially right now was the job that James McAvoy did in the movie. What was the name of that? Split.
Yeah, I think that was the name of it.
The middle part of the Bruce Willis Unbreakable trilogy, which culminated with Glass with Samuel L. Jackson. I thought he did. When you got to switch back and forth between different characters, I'm always impressed when an actor does that. I thought Oscar Isaac did a great job in this first episode playing a split personality character.
You got to see his acting chops really on display compared to anything that happened in the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. We won't go there.
Yeah, he was wasted in that trilogy, but so we're introduced to this character. What's the first thing that happens with this list? The first thing we're introduced to is Ethan Hawke's character, which we don't know it's Ethan Hawke initially, but he's taking this glass and breaking it up, and he puts it in his shoes, and then he takes off walking across the floor with a cane. So this guy's putting himself through suffering, some kind of suffering. It has to do with some kind of penance or something for some kind of religious reason, considering that
It's
we're
one of
dealing
the
with these.
Egyptian gods he's serving, because you can tell that by the cane he's carrying around. It's got like a lizard head on it or something.
Yeah, it has something to do with the Egyptian gods. But we're introduced to his character. Then we go to the intro credits, and then we're introduced to Stephen, played by Oscar Isaacs, who ends up being the character Moon Knight. But we see him. The gist of it is, man, every night this guy has to. He puts tape over his door. He's got a bunch of locks on his door. He puts sand at the foot of his bed, and then he chains himself to his bed and tries to stay awake as long as he can. And then all of a sudden, all throughout the episode, he'll just snap to and be in a situation he has no idea how he got there.
Yeah. It really makes you wonder what's happening. And then he's hearing that voice. He's always hearing that voice, and it turns out that's another Egyptian god that's talking to him.
So that's not the actual. Is that another Egyptian god, or is that the Moon Knight personality in him?
Well, he hears the Moon Knight personality. Well, he hears Mark Spector talking to him, and he also hears that, the big white looking, like carrying a big knife or a big staff. That's one of those Egyptian gods or something, I believe. And I think he's hearing at least two voices, maybe three. I think he's hearing two for sure.
Yeah, I think he's hearing two voices. I'm not sure if that loud, overbearing voice that he's hearing is the character that was holding the sickle.
Yeah, because
like
he
you're
keeps
talking.
telling him about the handle. Definitely keeps you interested.
Yeah, so he keeps losing track of time. He goes back to his apartment. He changes himself to the bed again. Then he snaps to, and he's in another situation he's not aware of. He ends up coming in contact with Ethan Hawke's character, which he's going around basically just judging the world. If anybody's willing to let him decide whether they're a good or evil person, right there on the spot, they'll drop dead if they're not found to be good. But through Stephen, Oscar Isaac's character, coming in contact with this character, we find out that Oscar Isaac's in possession of something that Ethan Hawke's character needs, which is a scarab. I don't know what the deal is with that yet. But the rest of the episode is Ethan Hawke's minions trying to chase him down to get this scarab.
Yep. And basically, it takes that's where we enter in the truck, and they chase him down, and he manages to take all those guys down, going back and forth while driving this truck, which eventually runs out of gas. And
Yeah, that was the scene I wanted to talk about. Some of the imagery that other people can pick out, I can usually pick them out if I watch a movie for the fifth or sixth time. But on first viewing, I don't recognize this imagery that they're throwing at you. But just the fact that he's seeing in one scene at the end, he's in this room that's got multiple layers of mirrors in it, which is a take on his split personalities. And the fact that while he's going down this curvy road in an ice cream truck with these guys chasing him, the Steven personality has no idea what's going on, and he keeps going back and forth between characters. The curvy road is a take on how chaotic his existence is at this present time. But what cracks me up, man, is the loud voice that we keep hearing at certain points. He keeps referring to him as the idiot being in control. He's like, the idiot's in control again. So, yeah, he threw the gun. the ice cream truck ends up going backwards down that hill. He's got a pistol. He can shoot the guy. He throws the gun at him, and he's like, "You idiot! What you throw the gun at him for?"
Yep. And plus you have why this is going on. The song from Wham, "Wake Me Up Before."
Yeah. So we get to the end of this episode, man, and they're trying to chase him down to get this scarab, and he ends up back at the Egyptian Museum.
Right.
And the Egyptian goddess that Ethan Hawke's character, I have to figure out what his name is. Hold on one second. Ethan Hawke is playing. Oh, come on. Do you know his character's name right offhand?
Offhand, I do not. I remember the name. I mean, I remember seeing it, but I cannot remember off the top of my head because I'm not familiar with it.
His name is Arthur Harrow.
Arthur Harrow. Okay. I knew
So evidently he's in service to this Egyptian goddess named what's the goddess's name? Hammett or something to that effect.
Yeah,
Let's see.
That display with that part missing on that temple wall or something he was pointing to in the imagery there.
Yeah, he walks into the Egyptian Museum, and that Hammett, which is like a dog-like creature, has a part missing. The hieroglyphic on the wall has a part missing, which is obviously the scarab that they're after. But in the middle of nowhere, while Stephen, the Stephen personality, is in control of this character, this Egyptian goddess, this hieroglyphic dog, who we find out throughout the episode is responsible in the past for the things such as Adolf Hitler and Pol Pot and anything that caused a lot of human suffering. It was a result of this Egyptian goddess allowing mankind to be judged. And this hieroglyphic toward the end just comes to life and is chasing him through this museum. Before we get to what happens at the end of the episode, going back to that about how we're explained that this Egyptian goddess is responsible for like Hitler and Pol Pot allowing mankind to be judged. I heard another review where they brought up the interesting fact that this character didn't mention anything about Thanos or Red Skull or anything we're familiar with from the MCU as being cataclysmic and what could be seen as judgment, that sort of thing. And my theory on that is that leading into Doctor Strange 2, we know we're going into the multiverse of madness. I think that this Moon Knight series may be in a totally different timeline or dimension than what we're used to, which is going to start tying all this other overarching storylines that we've been getting down to the Loki series with Kang. We know in the Doctor Strange 2 trailer we got short hints at the Illuminati. Patrick Stewart coming back from the Fox X-Men franchise. It's just hard to tell where this series fits in quite yet, so to speak.
I think
with Doctor Strange 2 coming up.
Connectivity coming out because at the end of Eternals, you have Kit Harington's character. The voice in the background is Mahershala Ali, who's playing the new Blade in the MCU. Moon Knight's going to be connected to the Black Knight and to Blade. So I think I also heard Dracula could also be showing up in that Blade movie. So all this is going to be leading into this. Like when the MCU first started, it took them 3 or 4 years to get all these movies in. So basically, after Endgame, they're having to restart everything up again in a different direction. That's why they got to get some momentum.
Oh yeah, definitely has to get some momentum. But we still have characters that were in the original MCU timeline in the Infinity Saga. So
Right.
they can't just pretend like that whole 21 movies didn't happen. That whole story happened because you got past characters that are still in existence, but you're also introducing these new characters and this new overarching story. I believe what we're seeing right at this present time is introducing us to a larger existence of the multiverse, these different dimensions and timelines that we were introduced to in Endgame.
Right. Yeah. The thing of it is that you have to get. The trick is to try to tie in some of the characters, like you're bringing in the Netflix Marvel series, as you're seeing. They're going to do a new series with Charlie Cox and Daredevil because it was so popular. They're integrating some of these new characters along with existing ones, only based on existing stuff. So it's a kind of the evolution of the whole entire franchise that needed to be done for so many years.
Yeah. All right. Eventually, this episode ends with this dog-like creature. That's an Egyptian goddess that comes to life off of the hieroglyphics in the museum, chasing this character who has split personalities. The personality we're following at this present time is the timid, nervous, don't know what he's doing Stephen, who, like you said, works for this museum. And he chases him all the way down the hallway of this museum. He ends up in this bathroom, it looks like, with the door locked and multiple mirrors on each side of the room, so they're reflecting off of each other, which is a take on his split personalities. And he ends up having a conversation. The Mark Spector character that you're talking about finally looks at him as his reflection in the mirror and asks him to let him take control so that he could save him. Finally, the beast, this dog, this creature, bursts through the door. A lot of people complained about this. I like the way they do it because this was basically first episode was just introducing you to the character of Moon Knight. As soon as he bursts through the door, you start seeing these, looks like Egyptian mummy bandages start wrapping around the character, and then it flashes outside of the room back down the hallway and slowly zooms up the hallway and around the corner, and you see a fully exposed Moon Knight in all of his character costume, and he's beating the crap out of that creature, and he just turns toward the camera, and it cuts off.
Right.
And so basically, this was just the introduction to the character. There's a lot of unknown stuff we're still going to find out story-wise, but I like the way they didn't just jump in and start showing you this character and introduced you to him right at the end. It makes it more intriguing.
Think about some of these characters that's really, they're having to introduce now. You can't really, they're not introducing them in the movie format like they did with Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man and stuff. They have a little more freedom to get a little background with the Disney Plus series. And you really need it with a character like Moon Knight and some of these other characters, because these guys don't have nearly the publicity with a lot of people, or the actual, people know a lot about them like they do the previously mentioned characters like Iron Man and such.
Well, even when those movies started coming out, unless you was a comic book reader, I went to see Iron Man. I had no idea who Tony Stark was or Iron Man. All I know, it was a superhero movie coming out. And my dad was actually the one that suspected we go watch it. He was at the age, I don't think he really cared. But my brothers, three boys, were all at that age where you want to take them to the movies to see a superhero movie. My dad suggested we all go watch it, and we did. I had no idea at that time what that movie and the MCU would eventually grow into, this massive property that I can't get enough of.
Right.
But yeah, there is a lot more time in these Disney Plus series to develop these characters, and it might not take as long doing it this way to get a larger story like the Infinity Saga wrapped up and completed as it did with that storyline. Like it took 11 years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Introducing these characters. Introducing these characters on
stuff.
Disney Plus, you could probably do an Infinity Saga story in half the time. So that's an interesting thing there.
Yep, I'll agree. I think if you you could probably make it 5.5 years to get if they go to Secret Wars like they're rumored to be doing. You could probably get the Avengers 5 in probably 5.5 years with all these background stories.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm really interested in this show. We'll cover it every week, hopefully, because we got to figure out if I can boost my internet or something. Because your mic is breaking up some on my end. I don't think it'll be an issue when I upload it to YouTube. You're probably coming across fine to everybody else.
Right.
Try to work on that issue. And with this laptop I bought and using StreamYard, we may be able to go back to doing live shows. And hopefully on Friday nights, whatever nights Moon Knight's releasing, what is it, Wednesdays? Maybe we can do live reactions as soon as it goes off. And there's some other features that StreamYard has available on the laptop version that it didn't have on the iPhone version, that we may be able to do some screen captures and screen sharing and some things like that.
There you go.
I'll show up next time with my green screen of Ox Toe behind me.
Well, great. We can all hardly wait. Well, I'm going to get my calendar so I can mark it down there. Thanks. I have a reason to get up. I appreciate it.
All right, man. So, you got anything else to
add? Besides adding all the personality and all the Dark Force logic, I want to encourage everybody to check out the group on YouTube, check out the group on Facebook, and of course, look us up on Twitter. You can find him at DaRealLastJedi. That shouldn't take hard to find. You can find me at Ashley Houch. Just look for Korriban, the greatest planet in the Star Wars galaxy, in the background, and shoot us a tweet, shoot us a message. We'll get back with you.
Yeah, like I always say, remember to subscribe to the channel, like and share the videos, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get email anytime we upload something new. Help us grow the channel, and
Don't
hopefully
watch the Shields. Help us be chill. Don't watch the Shields. Watch us and be chill.
Yeah, don't watch Andy Signor on Popcorn Planet, or Christian Harloff on whatever his channel's called, or that John Campea guy that gets paid to give everything favorable ratings. Come check us out instead. Anyways,
just remember, per Darth Pane, the high ground is overrated.
The high ground is overrated, man. Y'all have a good night.
How you do, later.